Okay, now you can call the meeting.
All right, so we'll call the meeting of the rec board to order. See here, any public comment? So, oh, is there? Oh, yay. You're up, Leroy. That's you. So Matt has a public comment on an agenda item. So hear those at the front, correct?
Yes.
I wasn't expecting to go first.
Oh, I was sorry. Hey, I got you on the agenda for the basketball league, or however you want to phrase it.
Do you want to do that now or on
So,
the agenda?
Just because, Matt was the one who had brought it up to me, so I asked him to come just so I could get a better kind of straight from him rather than me kind of guessing at what we were doing. So I'm not sure if his comment would be better now or if we can allow him to give a comment when we get to that agenda item.
No. I don't know if it's a public,
You
you
can't.
have to be in the beginning.
You can. If you
You're
were
right.
given a presentation,
He could
then
be.
you could speak
Yeah.
during the meeting, but.
Okay.
So just kind of what you would anticipate, whatever basketball-y type thing you would like to see.
Yeah. So I participated in one at Wilson Southern, but I don't think they're doing any more next with COVID. And what that was it was a 35-year-old plus pickup basketball, and it was like 2 hours at Wilson. They opened up the gym there. And they always had a good crowd. It was like 30 people plus usually on Wednesday nights. So that's
So
about
are
it.
you suggesting we do something?
Yeah, I don't know what's available for, I don't know, Wyomissing School District or whatnot. I've actually never been in the schools there, but
Yeah, we don't.
So whether it's the schools, we might be more apt at looking at some of the outdoor courts that we have, so either at the Hills Park or over at Happy Hollow. I mean, that was kind of my thought with what you had told me, finding some way to incorporate. You know, we've had long discussions about the basketball courts, and we've found that having more activities at those basketball courts tends to reduce some of the other problems that we have.
Yeah,
So we
that's a
have
great idea.
community members asking for more adult recreation at problems we're looking to resolve. So it kind of seemed like a great.
I think one of the draws probably of the one I participated in was that it was a place to be during the winter time. So
Can't help
I
it.
don't know what kind of participation you get, if, every day of the week is nice outside. So.
Did you guys have self-appointed, like rotating, like refs? How did you do that?
No, it was all just like
Call it.
self-ref. We all signed up on a sheet at the beginning of the night, and then they just divide everybody up into different teams.
I played in that league when I first moved up here. It wasn't a league, it was organized pickup.
Yeah.
Nice.
Will Lasky, I think is his name. He's like a local basketball hero here. He's the one who organized it. There was no refs. You showed up on Wednesday night, first come, first serve, and first 5 people played. The issue about playing outdoors as you get older, really nobody plays outside once you get to be 30 years old because it kills your knees. You can't do it. Yesterday I met Christman at the Wyomissing Hills, and I got there earlier. I went to the basketball court, and it's in terrible shape. Like, as a basketball player, I play 2 nights a week now at Grace's church, so if you're looking for someone, that's where to go. That court's in horrible condition. As a basketball player, you can't play on it because there's so many cracks. The ball hits it, it's not going to come back up.
This is closest to the street,
Yeah,
by the hills?
yeah. The one at Wyomissing Hills Park.
Not with pickleball court, but then, or is it the pickleball, the one they play pickleball?
It's where they proposed to have a pickleball court, and what
Okay.
Greg told me is the study that they did, the construction guys came back and said, in order to do this, you've got to rip this asphalt completely out and start over.
And
That's
you
how-
don't want, like, people getting injured on the court.
Yeah, I don't know if it's to the point where someone would get hurt, but if you're a basketball player, there's 2 things. If you're over 30 years old, you don't play outside anymore, you play indoors. Second is the court is in such bad disrepair, to me, even kids would have a hard time dribbling on that court.
So was that on the list that you were asking the borough fix? And I presume you have a fairly long list.
Yeah, yeah. That was put on it yesterday,
Okay.
after our meeting the day before.
Yeah, because the top
Um,
kids play there a lot. So
Now, I only,
it's great.
the court at Happy Hollow is in better shape, it's not great shape, it's just, it's a different material also. But to answer your question, as far as finding a place to play, like I said, most 30-plus-year-old guys play indoors because it's better for your knees.
And we can't help with that.
And we don't have any, that wasn't a Borough-sponsored league, that was a pickup league. And since Will has quit doing it, there was some arguing, fussing and fighting, and it disbanded. Now there's a new place, everybody plays at Grace's Church.
So even in the summer, you would prefer to play indoors?
Oh, yeah, we play year-round indoor at Grace's Church. It's, your knees and your legs can't take it anymore. So, I don't disagree with the idea of coming up with something, but when I looked at it and based on my experiences, guys have already found places that they play. They also play pickup at Alvernia, and it's not necessarily leagues where you pay to play. Body Zone has a league that you pay to play, but we don't have a facility.
I find the leagues are also usually a lot of like college age kids, and they run the court or whatever.
Yeah.
So
They have over 40 at Body Zone.
I do that. Okay.
But like I said, and it's not the answer that I think you're looking for, but if you're looking for somewhere to play, Grace's Church has pickup every Tuesday, 7 to 9, and Saturday, 8 to 10.
Can we not do something with the high school,
It,
the old gym?
I don't know, I haven't looked into that yet.
That would need going to a board meeting or to the school and asking them, asking the school
Would be
district.
us.
Yeah, just showing up there, talking to the or sending the superintendent an email,
Well,
we're interested in doing this.
we're start with the AD.
Well, yeah.
We'll start with superintendent,
Yeah.
Frank Gardino.
You don't know if they have to open up the building and pay someone to be there and lock all the doors, there's probably some steps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for us at Grace's Church, we pay $8 every
Okay.
time we play. And that's to pay for the rental of the facility.
Maybe the school district isn't allowed to do that or something, who knows, right? So many rules.
It would be cool.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's awesome.
if
Well,
only,
that's good.
I was hopeful to see something, again, come from it, but again, not playing basketball, I don't know all of the details, and I appreciate you coming today and having expertise in that topic to begin with.
I could send a note to the principal and ask him, say, hey, it came up at one of our meetings, and ask him where we could start, does he have suggestions? And he's been very nice and polite with following up, so.
Any other public comment? Okay, so we have approval of the minutes all the way back from November. We've had in our packets from before.
Anybody here who
Oh,
had
I was-
it in?
I was at that meeting, I will make a motion to approve them.
Any second for the approval of the second? All right, we have an approval and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, minutes passed. November minutes are passed.
Am I voting today? Like, do I
Yes.
need my vote?
Yes.
Okay, aye. I wasn't sure if I was actually voting today. Okay, cool.
All right, next we have the financial reports from November, December, and January. We probably need a motion for each of those individually. So do we have any motion to approve the November financial report?
Was that reviewed at the November meeting?
So the November,
Because it put you in November, you.
we did not have a
reviewed
meeting.
October.
we would have reviewed October. The January meeting got pushed to now,
Right,
where we
so-
would have reviewed both the November and December, as there was no December
Okay,
report.
so you are asking the committee to approve them without having Randy review them with us? Ever?
Well, they were sent out last week, all
Okay.
3 months.
Okay.
I mean, I could go over.
What you normally gave a
Yeah.
little something.
I can, I had that under the director's report, but in November, December, under revenue, we had one rental at the Stonehouse for $300. December and January, December basically, we had 2 rentals, one each at the Stonehouse and one at the Pavilion. January, we had 3 Stonehouse rentals and one at the Hills Pavilion. We also, under revenues, we had donations as part of the 2024 fundraising campaign, well, we collected $1,850 worth of checks from sponsors' donations.
Do you have the year-end financial report that you can pull up?
That's in the December.
So it was good there about having to review the
Always a great thought.
That's January. November.
Well, does December have your own figures too?
Yeah, the December, I think we'll have the
And
year.
then that will suffice as a year for everything.
Yes. For the month of December, we actually came in at, net rec was negative 10,490. And in December, that budget was 6,617 negative. The year to date was December negative 475, 729, and the budget year to date was negative 457.
So we lost $500,000.
Yeah.
How much really staff done?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the January? On that half mil front? Why are we paying $80,000 in playground staff payments, monies, salaries, when we're only bringing in 62,000? Like, should we be charging more? I know we upped the rate like a year or two ago.
The
But like
playground
right off the
program,
bat, we're losing.
the playground
$18,000.
program, from what I looked at, what I was told was we operated off a deficit, that it's not a revenue generating program.
Well, it doesn't need to be revenue generating, but we could
That's
earn
it.
80 and pay 80.
There's
That's
nothing
it.
wrong with revenue neutral.
Yeah, revenue neutral would be much better than negative.
Last
being in
year,
red.
I just got this.
Well, you were also, what's that?
Randy was going to.
How much would we lose?
Yeah, how much?
18,000.
Randy,
Yeah, we're
Randy went
paying.
to, I think, Wilson to see how they did their program. They didn't have as many staff as we have.
Right, ours,
They have a lot more
what caused us to
playgrounds.
be so far over budget on playground was salaries, we were overstaffed.
Are we gonna be overstaffed this year?
That's what I'm going through right now, is the recruiting and hiring process and restructuring it.
So, and part of what we've also been doing with the rec board is we are looking to get a more thorough playground subcommittee to look not only at the costs, but also what services we provide with the playgrounds. That was something we identified
We're meeting
last
in
year.
we're meeting in a couple weeks, and I have a couple of counselors that I want to involve, and I did a, little survey to a lot of parents to get some input there, because there was a lot of negative feedback as far as the pricing, and
As far as the
the quality
pricing?
of the program, it doubled.
Did double.
And
It's still minimum.
and
Well,
the
what is it
eliminated, it's, when I'm walking here, it's like
175,
a kid,
a kid for the
It's
summer.
not-
So that's like 17 hours worth of.
but then it
Babysitter.
used to include night playground and it stopped, so if you went to morning and night, it doubled. And there used to be some like discounts which went away, so there was a lot of change with no
We did
real
it-
notice.
That was to keep track of the staff, too much staff was happening at night that we didn't need, so
Yeah.
that was like a try, if you
Yeah.
make a commitment tonight, you pay separately because you make a commitment, then we know that if we have that staff there, they're gonna be needed and we're getting our money's worth, while you're getting your money's worth. Tricky little balance,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we've been working as a rec board to kind of bring that more into line over the past 2 years. We made the first one that you meant about splitting up morning and evening, we did that, and now we have a playground subcommittee to look more closely at the pricing and what we're offering to make sure it's gonna stay competitive and reduce that deficit.
But as Michelle pointed out, if you look at Exeter, which that's the Y run program, I think their costs were 2 or 3 times what they were charging.
Judy from from Spring Township did a survey with 6 different boroughs and townships, and we were right on line, dollars per hour, for what our fee was. There was a couple that were well above us, but there were also some that were less expensive than us.
What do you mean dollars per hour?
So basically what your fee is with how many programmable hours you have available.
We have a lot of programming.
It's 100, I think it's 184 is what our
So
total
we're
hours
charging everybody $1 an hour.
is what it boils
It's-
down
And
to.
they complain.
Super cheap.
It's super
Yeah.
cheap, but I think we're also paying a lot of people to sit on their pavilion and play on
Yeah, I
their
think
phones
there's
as
a bunch of
well.
people sitting on their
Children fall
phones.
off on the bar, so.
And
And the
also-
80,000 is only a part of it, that doesn't
Yeah.
That's
add
also
in
the
like
leadership.
supplies and
No, that's
programming.
a different, there's a
Yeah,
different line
understand.
item. for
Right, but
that.
I'm saying we're already losing 18 on just salary versus income
Right.
on, and that's.
Well, that was one of the biggest pushes when I met with Phyllis and Michelle, was for 2023 was overstaffing, both the pool and the playground specifically, both of them were overstaffed. The feedback I got from residents was a lot of standing around doing nothing, that we were paying people to be there when we didn't necessarily need them. So that's why I'm reformatting
Okay.
both programs and kind of eliminating as much staff.
I'm also wondering how many kids were on their phones but didn't have a person in charge of them who was an adult saying, put it down and go out and play. You know, so, maybe they could have been used.
Oh, no, I mean
Yeah.
staff.
Right, no, but like,
Yeah.
okay, so.
Oh, like go out and play
Like
with the
teenagers
children.
being in charge of teenagers is tricky, so like an adult,
But
like
that's
not a
why we
20-year-old.
had, that's why we had an adult in charge of
We had
the playground, we did have an
Right,
adult.
yeah.
So
So
that
if
is,
that's the problem, that's not,
Yeah.
that's not.
From what
I
I can
think
tell,
we-
there was a
right.
facilitator in charge of both playgrounds,
Yeah.
and then there was a director in charge of playground and a director in charge of tot lot, and then they had team leaders under each one of those silos. So my question is, what are all those people doing?
right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
So,
But
I,
we have this as an agenda.
Jen, to
item.
answer your question, I don't have an answer for you today.
Okay.
It-
Yeah, I
it's-
just saw
it's
that, it's
definitely
like we're
something that
already
both
like
of them said,
20K.
Randy, you can't be over budget this year.
Okay.
That matters.
Way too busy.
I know.
Talk about a loss later.
What do they do next?
So is there any others, Sam, you want to say too?
From the budget? I think for me, the budget's a huge issue. Coming from the private sector to the public sector now, it's been one of the most challenging issues, for me. Now, I feel I'm getting a better controller after 3 months, but it's still one of the biggest things. And like I said, Phyllis and Michelle were both like, do not go over budget.
Which still means we're gonna have a heck of a loss. So did you want a motion to approve the November 2023 financial report?
Correct, motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Wonderful, do we have a second?
And
Any other discussion on the November budget? All those in favor of approving the budget?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Do you have a password for it?
All right, so do you need a motion to approve the December 2023 financial?
So I was looking, I didn't see a December budget in the packet. Was there a separate December budget? Or was it November just the year end?
No, there is a December budget. There should have been 3 budgets. It was sent out in one of the original budgets, and we apologize for all the changes, but it was dates and everything else. But yeah, there were 3 different, there was the November, December, and January.
And it's the financial report, not the budget report.
Try just closing it.
So we would need a motion to approve the December budget,
Financial report.
financial report, my
So moved.
apologies. Thanks. Any discussion on the December financial report?
Hold a second.
How about a second? Let's go with a second. Any discussion? Thank you, Jen. Any further discussion on the financial report? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? December financial report is approved. And January financial report. Any questions for financial report to start the new year?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the January financial report is approved.
Does everybody have their copy of their agendas?
I know, too.
But that's, you just go to the top and pick it's the top document on the
But
list.
this keeps popping up as Microsoft.
Oh, you can't do, I thought you were trying to find something new.
Yeah.
All right, so the next item on the agenda is committee reports. And the egg hunt is up first. Obviously, Karim is not here. Do we have any?
Does everybody know what happened to Karim? He tore some ligaments and tendons in his foot.
No.
He was walking up some stairs and his foot slipped. And when it did, it caught on the next stair, but it tore some tendons and damaged some ligaments. So he's out for the next 2 months as far as he can't drive, he can't walk.
Wow.
So he apologized. He couldn't be here tonight.
So Randy and I are co-chairing the Easter eggs.
Thank you for stepping up.
Anything for the committee report so far?
So where are we at? We got a bunny suit, which I think is really the most important update. I have the eggs. I'm gonna count them and see how many we have. The Hills Social Committee is gonna do 100 eggs with the dollar coins in them again. And I think Randy has gotten a bunch of candy so far. We want to break up the age groups a little bit more. In my experience, at least with my kids, is that it's very overwhelming and it's very small spaces and it's a lot of kids. So when we met at the playground the other day, we were looking at possible different areas to kind of lay things out, different ways to like cordon off sections. And I think we're gonna at least break up the older kids, and we're no longer advertising it as 0 to 12. We're doing 1 to 12, because there were a lot of infants last year. I don't know if anyone here was there last year, but there were a lot of very small babies looking for where to go. And I was like, no. So
That never put that together. That's
this is a heavy outside of the borough. A lot of people come from other areas, big time. It's the biggest one that I noticed, but there's a lot of people that I don't recognize at all. And there's no real way to know who's, like, it's really hard to get a head count, really hard to anticipate how many kids are gonna be there, but I know like Emily last year I think got 4 eggs, and Claire wouldn't even do it because there were too many.
Have you thought about dropping it down to 10? I know my daughter's 12 and she has no interest
No
in
interest.
running around getting eggs.
Yeah, well,
12-year-olds are in 7th grade. They do
Yeah.
not
No.
want to go get eggs.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 10
yeah.
is probably a
Maybe-
better age
maybe for
range.
next year, I feel like we've already been advertising it up to 12, so I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like this year we should
A couple
probably
things
just
that
stick
we're
with it.
doing, we're playing for 600 kids.
Yeah.
Like Kristen said, she is counting the eggs, we're giving the 100 to the Hills Society, or the committee. We've already ordered some candy, if we need to order more eggs. She told me something that shocked me, that her daughter got 4 pieces of candy last year. As she said, that literally people line up around the starting gates, and as soon as you say go, it's a mad rush. I'm shocked no one's gotten hurt, pushed into a swing set, or, because I mean, I've seen rambunctious 6-year-olds, and if you're in a group with a 4 to 6-year-olds, someone's gonna lose, and it's the 4-year-old more than likely. So I'm shocked no one's gotten hurt.
I would say it started getting rambunctious maybe like
pretty high
if
stakes.
not more, yeah, like Sydney has no interest in going anymore. It
So-
like stresses her out, I have no interest in going anymore,
Yeah.
it stresses me out.
Yeah, and then last year it got really ugly because like everyone just started going. They didn't even wait to get started. So it
Yeah.
was like
Well, it'll be a little, this year, the date is 3/23, because Easter's
very
earlier.
early.
So, I mean, it could potentially be cold. I've already gotten several phone calls about asking for the date or confirming the date, so I'm anticipating it's still gonna be big.
Yeah,
They want,
Yeah,
they want
when you
Chick-fil-A,
renew,
they want the free
coupons,
candy.
they
Yeah.
want, yes, they want
A
McDonald's
delicious
coupons.
chocolate.
We put them in
Yeah.
snow one year.
Yeah,
We did them in the snow. Not a lot of people came.
So the bigger picture, the goal is to try to alleviate the chaos. So like Kristen said, we're making bigger areas for the groups to be in. We're narrowing it down, so it'll be under 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 4 and 5.
Why would you have under one?
Well, she was saying that the parents come with strollers.
I'm batting
Basis.
around.
I'm sorry, that's
batting around the
insane.
under one category because I don't know what we really give them or how they
They
can
can't
get.
eat the candy, they can't
I
participate,
think mom
that's
and dad
nuts.
get it.
Okay, well,
That's-
that's
yeah,
right, that's not what it's
Mom and
for,
dad forget.
that's not what it's
Yeah.
for.
They come to my door trick or treating too.
Many moons ago, we stuffed candy as a rec board at the Stone House together. It was a fun night with our families. So I'm willing to stuff eggs if you need them. And then during COVID, or around that time, we all stuffed separately.
Okay.
We all were given a bin, or maybe before that, and we all did it on our own time at home.
I thought this high school.
That's not on here, so I was offering. Sally,
Right, but I thought
Sally.
the high school done it.
There was a teacher at the high school who had her students helping
Yeah.
us, but
Well, this year, we're going to work with Prospectus
I saw that.
Okay.
Bertha.
So-
That was
so
somebody
I
that
was
Michelle's
also
already had a
offering, if you're
meeting
gonna
with them and they
make more
volunteered to
eggs
do
and
it.
make people-
Okay, so has somebody
It's
told
cause,
the high school, okay, but you're also cutting off people.
but I'm waiting for their
That's very
confirmation. I sent them an email today to wait to get confirmation that they would do it before I tell the high school, no, you're not doing it.
Okay, so is this a negative to the high school?
Wow.
If they were doing a good job, why wouldn't you continue with them? If they enjoyed doing it, they were doing a good
I don't
job,
know
why
the
would you
feedback
cut them
on
off
that.
at the knees?
Did you
Is
get
that
anyone
the-
reach out to Sally McAvoy? That's the teacher at the high school, Sally McAvoy. She was on the record a minute ago. She was probably on somebody's notes. And she was the contact, and she is, one of the teachers there and had her students stuff eggs. I don't know how many.
I
I don't know if it
Michelle
was
had
a
a meeting.
tactile activity or.
Michelle had a meeting, came back and introduced me to the people at this organization and said it was a goodwill effort as well, because they were looking for things to do,
Great.
to have a sense of belonging. And
Cool.
the facts were gone, it's a great project, or program.
Yeah.
The high school part, in all the notes I read, I didn't
Okay.
see anything about that. I saw the people
Interesting.
loading eggs till wee hours of the night, and I didn't wanna burden the board with trying to
Oh,
do
yeah, well,
that.
that was fun. We all
High
met
school's done
together.
for years.
It was fun. I don't know what that was, a sensitivity. But anyways, that's this lady at the high school. She's a young lady.
Well, along
What's her
that
name?
line,
Sally McAvoy.
we've not heard back from the drama club as far as like they are always there and they always dress up.
They're
But
all-
they're not responding.
They're all in audition, or they're all in rehearsals.
Well, I mean,
No,
Mr.
it's not.
Crick.
Yeah, Mamma Mia's in rehearsals, I think,
Okay.
every night,
Okay.
overlapping weeks.
So is their performance going to be before the icon?
No, it's after.
Probably after, but like they're already having,
Right,
rehearsals
but I'm
every
just-
night.
Mr. Crick told me that he would participate. He didn't tell me, since then I've asked him in 3 or 4 emails. He's not the best at getting back to people. Liz, one of the alternates on the board, said, Randy, if you have a problem with him, because I guess she does all the production side of the events. But she said, Randy, just go through me. And so she's on my list to email tomorrow to get confirmation, how many kids, what are they dressing up, what's their production, get all the backstory of that.
But just,
So-
so you also know, in the past, they have given out like half on 8 and half by 11 sheet of paper, which had on one side a description of the upcoming performances, but on the other side, sort of coloring, something to color, so that was something that was given out at the end when the kids turned their eggs in. That's when they got coupons, that's when they got the playbills, if you will, that's when they got other things.
Yeah, turn your eggs in.
Yes,
And
and
send
incentive
them in.
program. and no, you only get one.
So lots of bins.
So we wanna have a lot more signage, we wanna have things more heavily, supervised. And we wanna just try to spread things out and make things a little bit calmer. So we're gonna have set start times rather than the bullhorn. I mean, we'll still tell them when it starts, but we're also going to put, I think, on the sign when it starts, so
I
that,
like that.
and then hopefully with how it's spread out, it'll give parents who have multiple kids the opportunity to get from one to the next, because I think that contributes to the chaos as well. If there's only one parent and they stay with the 1-year-old, then the 6-year-old is, off.
Out of luck.
Yeah, so, hopefully that's gonna help. I think that's it. We're encouraging pre-registration, is
Yes,
that on there?
we're using the
But we're not
Wyomissing
requiring
rec,
it.
encouraging people to sign up, at least that gives us a better idea. It's not perfect, but it gives us an idea of our expectations of 600 people are way low or are they way high? So,
Yeah, I've had a lot of people who have asked if we're going to limit it to residents only, and I just don't feel like that's feasible. I don't think that we can do that. It's outdoor, it's in a park, we can't, there's no way. So hopefully spreading it out and having more there and, that kind of thing is gonna help, so. That's where we're at. Now, who would usually help hide the eggs?
We did it.
Okay, so
Okay, I feel
Right.
like,
I thought the high school kids came
Rec
for
did
that.
Way back.
But, like,
when we were soft.
who, like everyone?
Everyone, we all showed up at, someone bought a box of coffee, then we all got there and started bending over and putting down the eggs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they got the presents too.
Some of them came apart, and they all come apart when you put them on the ground.
The bending
So you
over
put them
part
together
sounds
and
terrible.
They do fall apart when you put them on the ground, so like the more careful you are, the better, but the longer it takes, and so you wanna start tossing them at the end, you're like throwing them, like, get the candy, whatever, and then, so it's tedious, very tedious, cause you can't just,
Well, the notes I read that it took, the recap from last year or 2022, I think is when it was that it took less time than they thought to hide eggs. It was less than 30 minutes.
yeah,
You
cause
don't-
everyone was there,
you
we're,
don't
Because they're not hidden.
You don't hide the
Yeah,
eggs.
that's
No,
what
they're just on the
Christman was
ground.
telling me. They're not hidden, they're just
You
laid
lay the
down.
eggs.
you have to lay them out, and then they open up.
So is-
That's the biggest problem in
so
helping.
Is this one that you would say, like, there's pretty consistent participation from everyone on the rec board? I just feel like the past several, there's not been any people
So-
helping.
We went from having, like a reminder email to no reminder emails, and that, I think the rec board, members forgot about some of the events or didn't come and yes, we all are adults, and yes, we should all have it on our calendar, but yes, it does help to get a reminder email from someone like Randy saying, hey, remember, like on Monday, this Saturday, we have, please be at the Wyomissing Hills at 9 AM, we're gonna lay the eggs, and that just helps me, who's managing, and other people maybe, I don't know. So I think that would help with participation from rec board on every event. Just a little, and then we sometimes get emails that say, okay, you signed up to do this, depending on the event, and that was like extra helpful. Oh yeah, that's right, I'm signing up to help.
So back to the age groups.
Send us
How
some-
much publicity has there been about having an egg hunt for under one?
It's on my rec or wyomissingrec.com and the social media event. So these two
Okay,
places.
so you could change those 2 or 3 things without a big.
The press release hasn't gone out yet.
Then my recommendation would get rid of under one, that's.
Okay.
Kids can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I
extra,
would
extra
scale
work
back
for
to
you for
10.
nothing.
I would scale back to age 10 next year. Doesn't make sense for them, they don't want that. I mean, they will, but. Parents don't want it.
But keep it for this year, Jen.
Jana, what are your thoughts of when that
Well,
mom
if it's
should?
already been it's already been
Well.
advertised.
I just don't know how they would change the groups. You probably still want 4 different groups.
Yeah, I think we should leave it as is for now, and
Change it for
then next year we'll note that and we'll change it.
7, 8, and 9, 10. You could do that pretty easily.
Yeah.
Any other
This
questions
sounds
about?
awesome. Who's gonna be
Not
in the
the
bunny?
reason why I'm missing,
Who's gonna be in the
or
bunny?
more than why I'm missing.
Randy's gonna be in the bunny?
I'm looking for volunteers. But we tested it out.
Yeah?
Kristen's daughter said it's not scary. She wanted to hug it and enjoy putting it on and chasing
Some
around
of
her
those
friend.
are not really.
Yeah, I made sure that, I mean, I got the least scary I could
No,
get.
it's not bad, and Emily's very jealous, so she's like, I'm bringing the eggs back with you because I need to try it on. Right. A lot of little animosity there, but yeah, the bunny's good. I think that will help and give them something to do.
Or what?
Where's the bunny gonna be for photos?
Well, I haven't decided. I'll probably walk
Yeah.
around. I was thinking about making a backdrop,
Yeah.
like giant cardboard Easter eggs and painting them and making it look pretty neat.
See
But I
how
haven't done that.
ambitious we're feeling come the time, right?
You've got a lot of work to do already.
It's neat.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's some chewy boxes.
Yeah.
But you know, Palmer might have some displays. There's a lot of Easter eggs and that kind of stuff that you could use.
That's a good idea. Okay.
You know, on the website it says children ages 1 to 12.
Yeah, I think we talked about changing that initially, and then we were thinking about maybe adding it back in, if we could figure out what to do for them. Because I do think it would be nice, but also,
I think we
Maybe
should,
just a picture for the,
well, I think we should still be prepared to give them something.
yeah.
Okay, you don't want all these parents showing up with their 6-month-old who are used to doing it with their older kids and all of a sudden, oh no, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
And there's a polite way to say it, but you know, in the end, you don't want them leaving being mad,
Well,
so.
they're showing up, these people show up for the Chick-fil-A coupon, for the McDonald's coupon. You'd be unbelievable when they're giving back the eggs. They're not satisfied with having one coupon.
Yeah.
They're not there for
I
you.
still can't get over your daughter got 4 pieces of candy. It shocks
And
me.
that was a good year, because she was the oldest one in the group. She was at the top of the age. She was like, I got 4.
That shocks me.
Claire goes, take me home. We had to take her home. She had nothing to do with it.
anything else on the Egg Hunt Committee? Going down to the Earth Day Committee.
Unfortunately, Jessica couldn't be here. Birthday is still pretty early in the planning stages, but the idea behind it is expand on what we do. In the past, from what I read, was it's mostly geared for little kids to show up and, you know, make seed bombs or insect nest out of pine cones, which are all great things. We'll continue to do the kids' activities, but also add in a educational opportunity component to it. So those 6-year-olds aren't driving themselves, mom and dad are bringing them. And if Johnny's making a seed bomb, what are mom and dad doing? So the idea behind it is get people like East Penn Manufacturing, they have a power to recycle program. Get iGreen Recyclables to come out and get more educational opportunities. The Penn State Extension Campus Master Gardener is going to be there.
First Nature might come out.
It's the same day as the Berks event, and several people are like, we'd love to, but we can't. We're trying to get, they have a new bus, an educational classroom, it's a portable classroom that's wrapped. They're thinking they might be able to make a stop at our, and then go to that other location at 12. So again, it's early with commitments. We're trying to get people to juggle it and make it work. Right now, we probably have about 6 or 7 educational aspects to it, but we're trying every day to get more people.
Well, they're also a very good group that comes to refuse and recycling. They're very interested in environmental issues. And you should contact Marianne Gruden, the Georges. I can email you over the
Okay.
names.
Okay. I just think that from what I've read, what we've done in the past, there's more we can do without having to put forth more work on our half. It's just inviting people to participate.
I think this was definitely one that I think took the biggest hit with COVID. I think we had a more robust Earth Day in the before times, and then in the after times, Jess has taken a great lead in kind of bringing that back up to begin with. So to your point, we kind of focused on that younger crowd aspect and bringing some of that more educational stuff back in, I think is a great way to continue to build on what she was doing.
If we're inviting people, can we at least offer to provide tables for them that people set up, tear down? Okay.
I think the Penn State people asked for 9 tables.
Wow.
They have 9 different topics that they want to talk about.
That's great.
They'll
Yeah.
be set up in the handball court area, is what they want to do. But like I said, it's still work in progress, trying to finalize everything. And we continue to look for more people. Based on the success of the marketplace at Lighting and the Greens, I thought it'd be cool to have like a small farmer's market like they have on Sundays in West Reading. So I went to B&H, their biggest fruit and vegetable person. They said, oh yeah, we'd love to come. So they're gonna come out. I might not be able to get more for marketplace, but at least somebody will be there for that. So, we'll have more on that.
Great. Anything else for Earth Day? The next thing we have is the director's report. Anything we've left untouched on your report so far, Randy?
Well, I guess I don't want to go back and, I mean, you guys all read this. I'm not going to go line by line of recapping the November and December programs. The biggest thing is thanking everybody for their help. As you guys know, I can't do all this by myself, and everybody stepped forward, from the police department to the board to the council. Everybody helped out at Lighting the Greens. One of the biggest compliments we got was Council President when he said it was the best one he's ever been to. It was the most attended and the biggest and best he's ever been to, which was the best thing I could imagine that he could say. So we do have some could be betters, and again, you guys read through those already. The Holiday Lights Fun Runs and Walk, we doubled our attendance for all the events. One of the biggest pushes was including the walkers and promoting walking versus just, in the past, I think more people thought it was a running event only, and we had as many walkers in every event as anything else. So, also a big plus was the dressing up part of it. Everybody loves ugly sweaters, holiday PJs and onesies, and you would be shocked with how many people dressed up.
I think just about everybody who came dressed up.
Yeah. I mean, it was actually, we had great weather, it wasn't too cold, but I think the theming them made it better. There's still some, like all events, there are things we can do better. The Hills was a great partner. Fleet Feet was unbelievable. Jason over there was stellar. He thrives in those kind of environments.
And Crosspoint.
Yeah, and Crosspoint was there at the first one at Berkshire Heights and helped us out with that. Twinklepalooza, the house decorating contest. I've lived here 7 years. I'm still amazed at how this town dresses up and puts on the lights. And it's not just going to Lincoln or that word I can never say, that one street in
Greenwich.
no, that's a good one, but I'm talking about the lights with the music, the one in the hills, Tewksbury, Tewksbury. Those two houses are, I used to think those were the best, but the extent that people do it just amazes me. A new program, or not really new, but we're bringing it back, is the stargazing. And I've got more phone calls and emails on this than anything else. The Berks County Amateur Astronomical, I don't remember if it's astrological, BCAAS, are super excited. The guy who's gonna be running it is a teacher in Pottstown, and he's done it before. The area still needs to be better defined. He and I talked again yesterday. We're at the same place on the map, the Parkland's map. It's called West Slope. You can get there from Parkview Place, or you can get to it from Cambridge. But there's a parking spot off, or parking lot, or area off of Parkview Place, that's designated on the map. So we'll have it well lit, well signed for parking, and then once you get there, he's asking people to wear red lights and make sure you put your phones away, so we have optimal viewing. The first one is coming up, I think in 2 weeks. And like I said, I've had tons of responses to that, so.
Yeah, nobody's gonna find it with that description.
Yeah, I mean,
Nobody.
we'll use social media, I'll do an overview like I did for the runs, and screen grab it, post it on there. We'll use the email on my rec program, on the website and so on, so we'll make sure that we communicate it.
When you say red lights, you have to wear a red light?
That's what he's advising versus, a lot of people wanna bring white flashlights, regular flashlights, but
Okay,
he's
gotcha.
saying that those deter, and he
Yeah,
advises a red light.
You have to, your eyes have to adjust to get
Of
to the
course.
dark.
Yeah. A program that's kind of in the works is the National Ride a Bike Day. I guess over the course of I don't know if it was last year or year before, but there are 3 large boxes of donated bike helmets that are at Happy Hollow. And they've never been used, they're just sitting there. So May 5th is National Ride a Bike Day. So I'm gonna try to put together something where Chief Phillips would be on site, JB Bicycles from, I think it's Shillington would be there and do minor repairs. There's also a donation aspect. There's a guy in Reading that takes old bikes that you can donate to him. He fixes them up and gives them to needy people.
Giving him a lot of bikes.
So the idea is to make, and I don't have all the details on that. I know I started with these free helmets and we'll hand them out as supplies last, but it might be a 2-hour thing where we just show up and it'd be like I don't wanna say impromptu, but we'll plan it out, but it won't be as big as other events that we've done. It's really just I don't wanna say it the wrong way, but it's to get rid of those and create space in the basement of Happy Hollow because there's 3 giant cases of helmets.
Great.
Well, I mean, the thought is if it doesn't work out and you don't think it's gonna pan out, you could look at giving those bike helmets away during Earth Day.
I'm positive it'll work
Or
out.
give
I
it
mean,
to
I've
the
got,
guy who fixes the bikes.
Yeah.
He should have a helmet with the bike, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He used to also paint the cans for Ken. He's the same guy.
Chief Phillips, his next door neighbor is the guy from JB, the place in Shillington, and he's already committed. He said, Randy, he'll be there. I'm telling you, he'll be there. So I think it'll be a good event once I get it all on paper. So I don't think there'll be a hard time getting rid of free help, anything
No,
free.
but I think that'll be.
The programming, playground and pool both, going through the recruiting and hiring process for that, again, maintaining the budget. One of the questions for Michelle today was, when I was working with Kathy and Phyllis, they asked me if we're giving increases for staff. The last thing I could find was in 2021, we approved a % raise for all employees that were coming back, but I didn't see anything from last year. So as it is right now, Michelle said we'd talk about it more tomorrow, but it doesn't show that we were giving increases for employees for either one of those programs.
So what did they do?
Starting was $8.50, returning was $12, and then the third year was $12.36.
Is that, what did the, adults?
Depends
Or else
on what
they-
their position was. Most of them are $17 an hour. Swim coach and the swim assistant coaches were a little bit different.
Yeah.
But those were the breakdowns from last year's. And like I said, Michelle looked in the minutes and I looked, and the only thing we saw was in 2021 where a rate increase was approved, but nothing from last year. Is that,
I thought they were given a raise, but I guess I would ask Phyllis, what hourly rate was she putting in?
well, that's what it was. It was $8.50 for
I
starter.
was gonna say, I wouldn't look at the minutes, I just asked Phyllis.
That's what I'm saying. I have all that and from last year. Kathy pulled it all for me. It was $8.50. First year employees, second year was $12, and third year was $12.36.
So how old did the first year employees tend to be?
15. Sorry.
It is. It's 15 years old. Like
Yeah,
I'm
like-
getting bombarded with emails right now.
I
People
prefer
want
a
to do like
16-year-old lifeguard, hands down, any day of the week over a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
It's hard. Not ready. Some of them are ready, some of them are ready. Babies. It's
No, I
a
agree.
responsibility.
I agree.
One of the things we talked about last was forming the pool committee. And in that would be addressing lap swimming and any other issues, which would include, roles and responsibilities for some of these guys, because the feedback I got was it's not clearly defined when these guys get hired of what they were supposed to be doing.
So I think I can solve your mystery of the lap swimming. I really can. When I was the pool manager, people walked in the pool and said, "We'd like to lap swim." I'm like, "Oh, it's great. Awesome, that's cool. Let me see what I can do. Well, the swim team's here from blah, blah, blah. Okay. But at noon we open. Okay. So how about we, like, if you can't come in, how about in the evening? Okay, I can do that after 5 o'clock. That's the kind of conversation I had. When I left, when the people came in, they were not welcomed with that kind of a conversation. They were attacked. So a customer was coming in, and instead of having a conversation about, yeah, let's make that work, it was a defensive conversation. And that's what caused the tension. And that is just purely lack of maturity and experience. So I, as an adult, could have a conversation with a human and we could work out when was a good time to put lane lines in based on their work schedule. And I know we have kids jumping off the side of the pool, and I'm just having a nice, normal adult conversation versus they were defensive and they were like, no, 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 we won't let you do this. And then those swimmers got defensive. And then they had a cause to start fighting. And that gave them a reason.
Well, I looked at all the,
Because no
like
one
the
was
last,
working with them and talking to them. They were just being told no without any kind of like real, I can tell you that's exactly what happened.
I think it's,
Yeah.
I went back for the last 5 rec guides,
Mm,
and they all identified it as lap swimming was designated 12 to 1 o'clock.
yeah, that had to be put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even a big deal until they weren't treated with respect. They
Right.
weren't. And when you're not treated with respect, then you just,
You get mad.
yes,
Yeah.
and I don't blame them.
Well, I think what Jess was pushing for though was lap swimming outside of pool hours and outside of a pool membership. Because she doesn't wanna join the pool, she wants to come like pay solely for like 1 hour of lap swimming 1 day a week outside of regular pool hours, and I think that's what she was hoping to accomplish. And I don't know how feasible that is because I feel like swim lessons and the swim team are there before.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
It's 8 to 9, 8 to 8, but like then you have to pay staff to be there to guard. Because no one can be in that pool without a guard and a manager. And then paying for more chlorine to have the pump on for another hour longer, and then to clean up. That's costly.
Yeah.
But there are ways to work around them and to help everybody get
But
what
I
they
think
need.
that's the goal of
It's
having a
just
committee. We have
kindness.
committees for other things. I think we should have one because the pool is such a big
No,
deal.
we used to.
We
We
should
used to
have a
commit for
committee.
everything.
So,
They also wanted to have a time where people who were sort of more extreme athletes who did.
Oh, like a master's team.
Yes.
That has to be done somewhere else. There's just no, I am on a master's team, and there's no extra time because the pool person gets in there to test the water at 6 a.m. and then no one can enter the pool if the chlorine needs, or if anything needs to be added, the swim team cannot get in until all that is safe.
Right, this would be done at the same time with the adults who do the lap swimming.
Right.
Not in addition
They
to
could,
it.
but then that's taking up a little bit more of the people's space that they can play. You know what I mean? And remember that 50-yard long, 35-meter wall there is the only place to jump in that's like 3 feet, 4 feet, starting to get deeper there by the diving well. That if you have a lap swimming on there, that takes away a whole, let's just be like generous 25 meters.
Right, but they were talking about after hours as.
Yeah, that's expensive.
It may be,
Yeah.
and she thought people would be willing to pay for it, but that's just another option that she wanted to explore.
We have to be pretty high. It's a lot of chlorine, yeah.
And it'd have to be an upfront payment, cause like, they
Oh,
can't
sure.
just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna show up, but I didn't
Yeah.
show up, so
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
just
pay.
Like the
It would,
evening.
yeah, it'd have to be like its own
Kids that have
membership.
it all, yes.
Yeah,
And another, maybe even a whole nother shift to stay for a guarding position. That's a very long day for a guard to put in. in the heat of July, you know, to stay another hour of the night, they're done, you know.
Right, but as you said before, we should have that conversation
Yeah.
to see whether it's feasible, because she seems like
That's
there's a lot of
just
interest.
It's
Masters
just like
would
you
be
asked
awesome.
earlier, if on my list, the pool committee is one of the hot topics, because I think it's, since you've been pool manager, I think some different things have happened.
I think so too.
And, you know, I think that the pool committee should address, I have a list of things that should be addressed.
I've noticed, you know, and this stuff, you know, but I can tell you, it's not going well at the pool. And the lack of adult people in charge is what I know is just would make your, like, eyes roll. Like, whoever was in charge, whoever 16-year-old, 17-year-old was in charge last year, paid a guard to go out and buy them breakfast because they were the manager that day. Another girl went home while she was clocked in and then came back 2 hours later to clock back out. So like, it's just, there's no one in charge there. And so my daughter was in it. So like I thought, please don't rat her out because she has to survive and socially. But she told me a sprinkling of what was going on. Just that, because I didn't want to know.
Well, I'm telling you,
I mean, I do
I'm
wanna
telling
know,
your
but, like, I
son
don't-
tomorrow, so I'm sure he'll
I don't
tell me
want her
some
to be
stuff
like
too.
this, I don't wanna know too much, but like, I watched as well, and I was only there like Mondays and whatever, but it's not really well managed as far as an adult, you really need an adult in charge, and that was me, I was an adult, and no one messed with me, you know what I mean, and then as soon as I left, they went on the roof, but I had to go home at some point or another, I know that they did, I know they goofed around as soon as I left, but at least I was there a lot of the time. And I had a great, you know, another adult person. You cannot have a 21-year-old running it. It doesn't work out.
Okay, under miscellaneous, we're gonna skip the, rec board part, because it's on the agenda. Roles and responsibilities, we're tabling that till the next meeting. I sent out the committee chairs. The biggest one that I need someone to step up for is the 4th of July parade and celebration, right? We filled in all the other vacancies, but no one's stepped up for that yet.
That's a big one.
You need like 3.
Yeah, that's big.
And from what like Kristen told me, in years past, everybody on the board has been part of that.
It's like a requirement.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
The 2024 fundraising campaign, the letters went out in early December, or mid-December. So far we have $2,850 in collected fees. A check just came in yesterday. There's still several commitments from people like Signs and More, Tompkins Bank, Lawrence Foundation, ROG, The Hills, iGreen Recycling, McCarthy, Compass Dental. Those people have committed their checks, just haven't arrived yet.
Did you know Roseanne Cole is retiring after this year?
I'm sorry?
Did you know that Roseanne Cole is retiring?
No, I didn't know that. Closing their shop? Because it's her and her husband, right? Yeah. So I'll have more updates as those checks for the next meeting, we'll have that. The rec guide has been finalized, proofed, everything that was released to production today. Sir Speedy, their target date for in-home is the 1st of March.
So you put prices for everything? You put prices for
Yeah,
everything?
he's supposed to get me his price tomorrow.
No, I mean, you put prices in already, you determined prices for tot lot,
Oh,
prices
yeah,
for the
we
pool.
did the same thing as last year. There was no price increase on any of those. Nothing got deleted.
There should be, is right.
There should be, I mean, everything else in the world's going up. You can't buy lunch for less than $50, but you can send your kid to the playground 5 days a week for 3 hours a day for $175. That is so cheap. I know that people complained, but I knew all the years I did it, and I did it since Sydney was first allowed to do it, that I was ripping the borough off.
Yeah.
I knew it, like, I
Like I
mean,
said,
in 1 week.
we're not
yeah,
the
I knew-
cheapest and we're not the most expensive. We're the middle of the road.
what we,
But it wasn't brought up at council, and council voted on keeping the prices the same.
we had a price list, I don't think it was, I don't remember any discussion of it. It's more hero charges and I think council rely on the to make recommendations
Yeah.
about appropriate prices, and I agree with Jen, it should have been raised.
Then I would say we have a playground committee, I'd say that would be a topic under the committee, and we have a recommendation for next year's pricing.
Even if you went from 175 to 200, you're talking about like a 10% increase.
Is there a way to put something on a future agenda, so for maybe like Q3, like we get something in September timeframe to make sure that we get?
Well, I would do it
a
before that,
review
I would
of-
definitely do it before that.
Well, I think whenever you think appropriate to have, I'm not sure if that's a subcommittee or just making sure we have some future eyes on reviewing pricing across the board for the programs we offer.
Yeah,
Well,
but
do you
we
remember
structured,
when,
like, the
do you remember when
membership number.
council approved?
We
the
did that
price?
within the past
Yeah,
2
it was
years,
like
we
2
made
years ago. Yeah.
the price adjustment.
Hold on, Melissa says council approves the prices in November, so I think you're too late.
But you can talk about next year, you're talking about 2025 season.
Right, but we ought to, rec board ought to be making a recommendation to council around September, October.
Right.
So the discussion has to start May, June.
Okay.
I think we can run it more efficiently as well, which I think will factor into pricing in the future. I think that there's a lot of opportunity based upon my limited look at things so far. There is a lot of opportunity.
There's a lot of
there.
layers.
I can tell you how to save money at the pool.
Yeah, so I think after such a big increase last year, and I know it's still not a lot, but for some people, especially because people with multiple kids, it was significant. So I think to leave it the way it was for 1 year is not unreasonable.
So to answer your
You're
question,
limited,
yes.
you know,
that was,
wonderful.
So we'll make sure that that's on the rec board's eyes for this year to make sure we revisit our pricing list for our recommendations to council for appropriate.
That's it for the director's report.
All right, so we are on to old business then, past the director's report. So first item in old business is the 2024 rec board positions. We have motion to table, approve, deny nominating Michael Scher as a rec board voting member.
There's 2 vacancies right now, and Mike Scher was a recommendation. So we need to make a decision. No, he's not here.
Did we make Mike fill out one of the questionnaires?
I interviewed Mike, so it wasn't a stab in the back, I've known Mike for 7 years. He's a senior vice president at Duriak Tech. He was at the Laurel Hill Swimming, he was the VP of the Laurel Hill Swimming Association, so he's got a big background in swimming. It was all the stuff that I sent out.
Is he a president?
Oh, honey, it was right down the street on Park Road.
Awesome. You recommend him?
Yeah.
I know Liz, so let's put him up.
Okay, so is there a motion to nominate Michael Scher as a rec board voting member?
Motion to nominate Michael Scher as rec board member.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Michael Scher is on the rec board.
Unfortunately, Liz was my second choice to become a board member, but based on her available time, she's not available, but she wants to continue as an alternate. I went over the roles and responsibilities kind of before they're approved. I prematurely went over them with her for an alternate, and she agreed to everything on paper. She's a very busy woman, but she is a wealth of knowledge, and she's connected at the high school. So in my opinion, she's a great person, and every email I write her, she replies back.
Yeah, she's great.
And I believe she was also a prior alternate member
Yes.
before.
She was one of my lifeguards all too.
We graduated around the same time.
Have you guys ever, advertised that for board members to the borough saying, you know, are you interested in this? Send a letter of interest,
No,
and get
at the-
people other than just word of mouth recommendation.
in the November we haven't done that I know of. In November,
I mean, I feel like
Good.
everything should be done that way.
We had a Facebook post, not an
One
official
time,
advertisement, but.
And then Angela put the hammer down.
Cause you and Karim and
Me, Karim, and Jess.
Jess, all at the same time from
All
Facebook
from that,
posts.
yeah.
Cool, yay.
in the November meeting, we talked to the board members about them nominating somebody, whether it's neighbors, friends, whatever, within the community.
I'm always looking for someone who's interested.
But there's no reason you can't send it out to my rep.
Yeah, just put on my lap, like,
That
we're
and
interested in
Facebook
board
posts.
members, these are the requirements, you know, if you're interested, send us a letter of interest, some background knowledge on yourself, and we'll reach out. You know, that doesn't mean they get on, but you have a much better chance of getting somebody that you have no idea has these great talents and all this free time.
Yeah, exactly.
And also just volunteer for different events.
Yeah, or maybe they're just like, well, really wanna help with Fourth of July parade. You know, I mean, you never know,
They're out there.
there are so many residents out there.
There, that was one of the things that when I first started was there wasn't a big push in volunteerism. We didn't have it was the board that did everything, and Michelle's worry was I was gonna burn the board out by them helping. So now it's in the rec guide, a page just on volunteering, there's a section on my rec, and it's gonna be an article that I submit to Melissa for, the Citizen. So I agree with you 100%. The board members, I didn't have that as an advertised type thing. Twofold, because it could backfire and I get bombarded with, for lack of a better term, knuckleheads.
But if they're gonna go through all the effort, trade, and interest, a knucklehead's just gonna be like, oh yeah, I want on. But if they're gonna give you a letter of interest, this is why I wanna do it, this is my background, they're gonna put effort into that.
Well, I sent out-
Read that super fast,
It was a-
no,
That's a good filter.
Even though we took it off the agenda, in the packet was the roles and responsibilities for the board members, so it's there and in writing of what we expect you to do. So we can easily add it. We still have one position to fill and 2 alternates.
And you
Yeah,
need
so if they
volunteers,
see that
and you need
list,
volunteers for events.
Yeah.
yeah, if they see that list and you tell them it's a letter of interest required, maybe they need a recommendation too, from anybody that says, yeah, this friend is great. You know, just to get the word out. I feel like we're so isolated.
We are. We keep re-triggering.
Yeah.
Well, is there a motion to approve Liz as the alternate candidate?
So moved.
Any second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Liz is continuing to be an alternate for us. And the subcommittee chairs. I think we went through, that was the list in your
Yeah.
report, so we have everyone has a chair, or every event has a chair outside of 4th of July.
Yeah.
We'd see who feels comfortable to step up for that. And the snack bar, please.
In the packet was also included the revised snack bar lease. They stepped in last year at the last moment and took over the snack bar. The feedback from everybody was they did a jam-up job. We didn't charge them, we didn't take a percentage of sales, and they didn't pay for anything. They just stepped in and they completed the task on hand and did an amazing job. When I met with Michelle, we wanted to renew their lease, but add in certain things that they were gonna cover costs. Propane, percentages of their water and electrical use. They were gonna take care of all inspections. They were gonna take care of cleaning to open the facility and deep cleaning for closing the facility, winterizing it. So the lease was included in your packet, but I need to take, after I have the board approval, I need to take it to council to approve it before I can submit it back to them. They already know, They know, I wrote the lease based on conversations with them already, so it's not a shock to them that we're asking them to do these things.
So you haven't shown it to them yet?
No, they haven't seen it.
Okay, if it were me, I'd show it to them before council, because once council approves it, your ability to revise it is
Then it pushes it back another month.
right.
Okay, that's a good point.
And you wanna finalize it next week, not,
I talked to him on Monday and told him what the process was about you, the board approving it tonight and council next week. And he said, Randy, you're way ahead of schedule, so don't worry about it.
still.
Yeah, I agree with you, that's a good idea.
So this one, do we wanna wait to recommend until it gets reviewed from that company, or are we comfortable?
I mean, can we approve it, and then you show it to them, and then council can approve it?
That's what the plan is that the
Okay.
board would approve it tonight, and I'll follow up with what Jana's suggesting and talk with, the guys tomorrow
Just wanna
about
make
it.
sure that we're all understanding what you're doing, so.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I
make changes.
think what you would say is you recommend council approve a lease substantially similar to these terms. So you'd have some tweaking room.
Can you just request that the council sees it in March for the March meeting instead of the February meeting next week? Which gives you time to have them look over it and then say, we really can't, I don't know.
Well, what we could do, I would suggest, if rec board wants to move it along, if Randy, if they have some heartburn over it, then we'll just table it at council meeting and then come back to rec board and go through it.
Okay.
Okay.
He would
But-
give us the say so that we need to table it so
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but this
Work
is the potential of getting it done next
Yeah,
week.
that makes sense.
They've agreed to everything in principle already. If
But
they
we
haven't
don't
seen the
foresee that.
formalized,
Yeah.
last year's lease that they had, there's a statement in a bullet that says, next year, we're going to charge you for these things. And they signed it last year, so this year's
Okay,
lease
yeah,
basically
yeah.
takes those things
That
that they
makes
agreed
sense.
to last year, and
You were
now
trying
guess
to
what,
get
guys,
some-
are paying
So
for it.
there's a
So
chance
in
it'll come.
principle, I've met with them twice already,
Yeah.
and they've agreed to terms. They haven't seen the physical lease, but I can share that with them tomorrow.
So we're looking for a motion to approve, the full service concession lease substantially,
Recommend that council.
recommend to council to approve full service concessions lease similar to what is presented. Do we have that motion?
I'll motion that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those, in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we'll recommend that to council. We already, I think, talked pretty thoroughly about the basketball league. Again, I appreciate that being on there and trying to do what we can for additional adult recreation. So on to new business here. Anything else for the rec guide? We talked about fundraising campaign. We have the Memorial Day Parade and service for Grand Marshal candidate of Matt Gutman.
This was a struggle for me to find somebody to be the grand marshal. In previous rec guides, it had dating back till God knows when of different people. Everything from guys who served 2 years, and I don't mean this disrespectful, pushed paper for 2 years, to guys who weren't in the military at all. So I checked, and I've got the list of who all it was. Does everybody know who Tyler Boland is?
Yes.
Young guy, he's been in every parade we've ever done. He's a Wilson graduate. He went away to school in Philly. He came back because he missed his friends. And what people don't realize, his friends are 90-year-old World War II vets. He's taken a group of them over to Normandy this summer. The guy's like a lot of, I forget what they call that, but I mean, he's a remarkable kid. So I leaned on him to help me find someone to be the grand marshal. He found Matt Gutman. But the problem is he's not a resident, and he wasn't born here. He lives in Kutztown. He's 99 years old. He was in Pearl Harbor, he drove the landing craft, shot down kamikaze planes. There's a lot said about this guy. He's pretty well known, and he's a great speaker at 99 years old, is what Tyler's saying. There are some other people. Sue got back to me and gave me a list of people. Matt also found, or Tyler found he met two new World War II vets that live at the Highlands. He doesn't know them well enough yet. He just recently met them in case we say no to this guy Matt. But Michelle wanted me to bring it up to the rec board, make sure that if it's mandated that this Grand Marshal be a resident of the borough.
The feedback that I got was pretty adamant that it should be someone who lives within the borough. Now, I'm just reporting the
So we had
feedback
this
that I
conversation.
have received, and that is what I
You know, Memorial
been told.
You do
Memorial
have
Day was a hot
veterans
button
in
last
this
year.
community.
So I
My
think
husband's a veteran, not like this guy, not like Matt. Sorry, Matt Charles Matt.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, I
I don't
understand like a resident versus a paper pusher out of Wyo, but this guy, he's got some cred. We should have a backup. He is 99 in case he falls ill in the next few months.
But we also, in the past, we would, in the Fourth of July parade, have, cars which had Pearl Harbor survivors. These other people should be invited
Right.
to ride in the parade and be honored.
Tyler has
Yeah.
9 vehicles, and I think 20-something people are lined up for Memorial Day.
You know, you're also, it's gonna help bring out of, borough residents to Wyomissing, particularly Memorial Day parade, which it desperately needs.
all right, well,
So, I mean, there's that.
I'll focus on that. I don't know. I didn't grow up here. I don't know.
I didn't grow up
I'm
here
trying
either,
to.
so, yeah.
I'm trying to.
is there a reason?
It's just
Maybe
wild.
because that is how it's always.
Was it?
You guys might
Yeah.
know some of these names. These are from the past. John Ellington, Bill Galvin, Chris Kay, Charles Byler, Doug Hopler, Christine, can't say her last name, Richard Bile.
I don't remember there being a grand marshal, but I marched in a parade preschool band, so that's how much I paid attention to it that way.
And this is dating back to 2004. And then I stopped writing down.
These are people who have done it already, not Ellington's
So
already.
He didn't
And
go
it's
long
done.
enough for me.
They've done it.
Like Chris did it 2 years in a row, 2021 and 2020,
Yeah.
Chris did it 2 years in a row.
Shake things up, blame it on the new Dems. I don't know, it's just like, I mean, this guy is the real deal.
Well, it's like this.
We also
this is
generally
like
have-
you said,
You're gonna
not too
speak
many years ago.
afterwards, you're gonna have a great speaker afterwards.
Well, and I
Versus,
think
yeah, I mean, that would be,
We've also had
It's a
trouble
real
filling
draw.
that in the past. I know the past few years it has been a struggle to find anyone willing to be the grand marshal for the parade.
So we have a list.
Backup.
We have a list, but I
Have a
think.
backup.
You know, we can use a backup. Yeah. He's still getting that, you know.
But according to Tyler, he's a young 99.
Yeah.
He speaks amazing.
You love his outfit.
So, but like I said, he just met 2 guys from the Highland, and Sue gave me a guy that I haven't had a chance to check on, Ron Bordren, 91-year-old Vietnam vet. He was the father-in-law of the Grand Marshal last year. This was a note she sent me of possible names.
My husband's father. I have a lot of veterans.
Uh,
Have we already extended the invitation to Matt to
No.
meet? Okay.
I like to.
His credentials are so stellar. How could,
I'll defend that.
So I think we're all
I don't know.
aligned in inviting Matt Gutman to be the grand marshal of the Memorial Day
With all
parade.
of the hills is Matt.
You can say, you can dissent.
Last year was
I'm not
Last year was a
is
little
it
bit
the
of a
social
shit.
committee or
he got covered, so he voted against them.
TJ was adamant about it.
Well, so
You
TJ, all I did was ask TJ, I said, what do you think the response would be?
I'm not sure if
And he
that's a
said,
good person to ask.
people will be pissed. He like they'll just be pissed. But they also aren't happy that it's getting so small and that people aren't coming and that, you know, so I feel like if you're pulling from the same group of people to Grand Marshal and you're asking the same people to participate, eventually it's gonna start to dwindle, so maybe we need to, you know, I don't know. I mean, if somebody feels that passionately, they could also
Join the rec board.
be here to voice that passion, so I think,
Me personally, I think, and I'm not from here, so my vote
Yeah.
doesn't count and or carry as much weight, but
Yeah, it
this
does.
guy's got an amazing story.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it does.
And-
Yeah, I'm not from here, and
and-
I'm gonna say
I'm
mine.
not from here.
right.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get up here.
Oh, that's it, it's down
You're
to
still
me.
voting. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, we're voting anyway.
yeah,
Because I think because I recognize Matt's awesomeness and we can capitalize.
yeah, and I think that,
And he's not even honest to the other people who have
Respect for
their
him.
turn.
well, it's just like 99 compared to 99.
I would like to hear what
Yeah, and
So-
maybe that will draw more
You wanna
people to
vote?
hear this.
Yeah, so should we
speech.
have a vote on inviting Matt Gutman to be the Grand Marshal of the parade?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so we'll invite Matt to be the Grand Marshal of the parade.
This is good.
All right, residence programs, tennis and swimnastics. Back to revenue, expenses, and participation, so. I know these were on the list for last year, talking about how many folks participate in those. I know we had kind of those in the crosshairs as things that perhaps we lose too much money on in the scheme of things. Is that kind of where we're headed with the discussion today?
Hard to believe we think there's something we can do.
Tennis?
Tennis had,
I think they were.
tennis last year had 16
There weren't many
participants
people showed up,
Okay.
and 14 different families.
Okay.
There was one family that had 3 siblings that all did it. And both programs, based on the expense for coaches, the tennis instructor, the swimnastics instructor operated off of a deficit.
Well, but we clearly aren't adverse to running a
Yeah.
deficit, so
Yeah.
how much of a deficit was it?
Well, don't the
I mean,
members
a
pay
$50 deficit versus a $10,000.
to the swim, so that's when you sign up for swimnastics and tennis, it's on my rec, right?
I'm sorry?
Is swimnastics and tennis on my rec?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Swimnastics on my rec too.
Yeah.
So they pay, so but they should up their fee.
Too late.
Well,
But I'm back
everybody
to,
else.
well, you
I'm
can
sure it's
also
what
cancel if you
helps.
don't have enough.
Yeah.
Is it?
In the swimnastics specifically, there's a call out for that.
Yeah.
The tennis prices were pretty, I only checked 2 other boroughs, they were the same as everybody else
Reasonable, right?
charges.
It's just that the interest isn't there.
Yeah.
It's during a lot of other things that are happening.
Well, pickleball has eliminated tennis, so.
But not for the young people, really.
High school, it's literally becoming a high school sport in
Really?
multiple states now.
That's
There was
awesome.
just an interview with the program. Yeah.
Well,
So,
video games are.
I mean, right now, they're both in the rec guide. The deficit is less than $200.
This is dedicated.
Got $500,000 for the rec board.
Yeah.
That's 200,000.
So,
So they make it through one more year, they'll just be, put them in the budgetary discussion
yeah.
for when we look at fees.
Yeah.
But you also have to have the ability to cancel if there's not sufficient interest.
Yeah.
Maybe we could tweak the description of the swimnastics too, because I actually almost signed Emily up for it because I thought it was swimming and gymnastics, like flips and things,
Yeah.
but it's like Zumba,
Yeah.
like
No, it's
aqua
not.
aerobics.
Well, and even there's even people that are doing a more upbeat version of that. This is a
Yes.
group of people that have been there for 40 years, and they're just
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
And that aqua Zumba at the Hills Pool is bananas.
That's
Yeah,
people
that's my
come
friend
there
Allison.
are like
And
crazy.
she's got energy.
She packs that pool like.
She packs every pool she goes to.
Yeah.
She packs every pool.
Well, do you think it's the instructor that we just need to have a conversation with her of, hey, you need to update your curriculum?
No, I don't think, because that level, it's 2 different levels. Like Kathy's doing this level and Allison's doing this level, and they're not the same level of the athlete
Yeah.
ability.
But do you think we should be offering any before? If there's not much interest.
People will go find it, you know what I mean? You can find some, you can find those houses at places, if you want, they're everywhere. I mean, the high energy one, I mean, I can go to Hills and see things.
Yeah, I think it's like $5.
Yeah, you
Don't
can
be a
just
member.
walk in.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, no,
so that's
So you can advertise it all the time.
No, it's
We have
so
Zumba,
very-
water Zumba here at 4 o'clock.
Everybody talks about it.
There are other places, we should all be doing those places. But they are paid.
So for the time being, we'll leave them as is, we'll have them in the budgetary discussion for later in the year. The theme for Independence Day Parade.
How did you do the reconcile without Gene?
Without the,
4th of July thing?
4th of July theme.
yeah.
How did you, how is it?
It's been in there where there's a theme, but when talking with Melissa is we can put, there's always a loose sheet or a one page in the Citizen that can have it. Right now, it's the parade, the start times, a timeline of when everything happens, registration, the map overview, but there's no theme at the top of it like there's been in the past.
Could we ever?
Can it be added? I mean, it hasn't gone to press, so
No, it went to press today.
I thought you just delivered it to him today, you know, he's printing.
Yeah, well, it got released to him, so
Right,
tomorrow's
but-
when he's prepping the files and starting.
I
So
I
no
would just
theme.
think, you know, those crazy blocks, those psychotic about the theme,
Mm-hmm.
and that this block.
But I see
I
both
think they was
sides,
look for it in the red guide, but.
and I see that part of it, cause me personally, I think the red guide's a waste of $5,000. I think that it's antiquated, I don't think that people look at paper like they used to, it's like reading a magazine or a newspaper. It's days gone by. I think that now it's online, but after talking to several people and talking to residents, people told me, no, it gets tacked to my refrigerator, it's on my bulletin board or in my junk drawer. So
Why the Hills still
I-
has their directory.
I changed my mind. Now, I've read every rec guide from 1981, or no, 1977 to today. And,
We're sick, man.
yeah.
So I think this also might just be, a timing issue for us, because the January meeting was canceled, just going back through my notes, we did it in the January meeting last year.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can't imagine this is the first January meeting that's ever been canceled due to snow for the rec board, so.
But I also don't think we took advantage of other tools to promote things well enough. I don't think we used Facebook, we just relaunched the Instagram account, we haven't used MyRec. I think there's other ways to tell people what the theme of 4th of July is versus
There are,
the
just
rec guide.
for the future, it would be better
Yeah.
to have it in the guide.
Absolutely agree. In a perfect world, it would be great to have the Grand Marshal and the Memorial Day Parade page. So it's the best of both worlds. Do we want the rec guide to be late like it was last year, or do we want it to get there before the events start?
Well, I would just say that if those decisions are made tonight, I would call through Speedy tomorrow morning and ask if those two things could be added, but that's just me.
We're still using Source Speedy.
Good luck.
Does anyone have any thoughts about what they would like the theme of the 4th of July parade to be?
Oh, there's a list.
I mean, we're kind of going through the Star Spangled Banner for themes.
I sent you the list from 2001 to last year, what the themes were.
Yeah.
Last year, I think that Michelle just sat in the meeting and Googled themes for 4th of July and came up with them.
That's literally what I was about to do. 4th of July.
I mean,
parade.
well, I
like
looked at
that
our
for
list of like old themes, and it's just everything's like America, like could it be, or like
Do you want to spell
police,
American?
you know, like, I don't know, I mean, I understand
I mean,
it's
it is 4th of
Independence
July,
Day, I
yeah.
understand that, I know it's 4th of July, but could it be like, you know, the next generation, the youth, something of like,
We
Well,
did
today-
pay tribute to essential workers in 2021.
right,
The youth of America?
Well,
you know, something about the youth of
Except their
America, or
definition
like,
of essential workers was healthcare and
Right.
didn't include people like grocery store workers.
Right.
And, yeah, so.
Right, it was more
yeah.
I know.
or something like, you know, we're all back out again, you know, community, like, basically
Community in the
COVID is, we're
community.
back to our old
That does
ways,
sound
we
familiar.
didn't learn,
We
like,
did- we did have-
be in our community in 22.
Yes.
Well,
You're on the
today,
right track.
all right.
today I basically did the same thing Michelle did, and I And these are some
Google.
names that got spit out. Patriotic Spectacle, which I hate the word spectacle. Stars and Stripes Forever, Hometown Heroes, Future of Freedom, America's Melting Pot, Salute to Service, Small Town Big Dreams, Patriotic Pride, Honoring Our Heroes, United We Stand, Stars, Stripes, and Small Town Spirit, Saluting Our Founding Fathers, Liberty in Bloom, Freedom Symphony, Red, White, and Blue Spectacular. I mean, you can Google and it's gonna spit out a million things. And I don't know that tonight, we've been here an hour and a half already, I don't know, in the next 10 minutes, we're gonna come up with the answer. My recommendation would be everybody think hard about it. And, you know, over the course of the next few days, let's come up with something. But I don't know that the 6 of us sitting in this room are gonna finalize it tonight.
Operation Patriotism, July 4th, past, present, and future. What do you think of that?
Operation Patriotism. There you go.
Sounds serious.
I think you should have a doctor look at that.
For me personally, I think that you gotta be so careful of these things
Yeah,
now
I
because
know,
of the state of the country. And
Pennsylvania motto
it's
is
gonna offend
virtue,
somebody,
liberty, and
and it's-
independence.
Okay, yeah, we can think about it.
unless we wanna stay here longer, it's up to you guys.
Oh, it's a
Please, no.
So we will continue
Is
thinking
your
about
audience asleep by
the
now?
Oh, gosh.
theme.
But I would say, let's put a date of we need to make a decision by this date.
Do you think that date can be the next meeting, or do you think it has to be
Yes.
before
I think
that?
so,
Yeah.
I think the next meeting, absolutely.
So the next rec board meeting, we will resolve to come up with a theme for the parade and celebration.
Is this an Olympic
Jen,
year?
is that a council approval?
Yes.
Maybe Olympics?
Or is it just a rec board?
It's
Okay.
summer Olympics or winter?
And we have to pick the pie flavors, so that's a good deal.
Well, you have to alternate
So
between
I
red
don't,
and blue. What was the last year?
what was last year? Was it red or
Red,
blue
it was
last year?
red last year, wasn't it? So I think blue is pretty much blueberries and.
Yeah, just look at my red
Seriously,
eye.
Drew, they give us
Whatever.
different colors?
On my
Yeah,
special
we have
page
to, we
is
have to
on
alternate.
community.
There is nothing to angle.
Every single thing that comes in there.
I mean, the fact that
totally
there's
safe.
still a right contest in
I refer to my talking trash bullets.
I remember my first Fourth of July.
I have places to all my
My uncle still has his t-shirt from
Because I know where to find
1996.
I was like, is it 19?
When does recycling end? Oh, when do I put my Christmas tree?
My neighbors still put their leaves out.
They don't know how to read.
After. Anyway, so
So
finally.
we'll have recommendations in front of us.
It's
Recommendations
Olympic year,
and-
Summer Olympics.
Summer
Keep that in mind.
Finally here for the library, they are going through a strategic session at the moment. So they were looking to see if we have any recommendations about how they can be further involved in what we would like to see from the library, either from Borough or Rec Board in general. So I put this on here just to see, my thought is I would love to see the library at every event we do with the table, just having somebody there. They are already at a number of our events overall. So again, just seeing if they are willing to do more events with us, because I know we always want more people at more tables to have full events. But then also if we have any way for them to be involved with the summer program.
Can they run like a CPR course for the public?
Ask me.
Just for people to have the knowledge. Or AED training.
Do they share our events on their website and their Facebook page?
I don't know if they do at this point, but I think that would be something they'd be interested in, reciprocal, so we have
Yeah.
everybody posting on,
Yeah.
on both sites.
I always thought we need to have an event called Butterflies and Bees, but it hasn't really panned out, so. Like learning about bee pollinators and weed and.
You could incorporate that into our plan.
I mean, they had some talk at the last meeting about trying to visit some of the local schools and having like a program with there, and I thought, just if they're coming to the summer program, they could come bring books, we could get the kids signed up and they could bring the books to the playground, something along those lines, is where my head goes, but again, they're looking for ideas, suggestions.
They could have people bring a raft to the pool and they could all read out in the grass on a raft.
I did a story hour and a craft at the Hills Pool, and sometimes people came.
Can't bring a book,
Sometimes they
it'd be
could.
fun to read in the diving well and close that off, but then, books all the way down.
Yeah.
Do you think we'd be willing we have space for them to do
Yeah.
story time at, not only at the playground, but also at the school potentially.
Yeah, do that, be great.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, especially like for the little ones.
Bring
that don't
something
really
fun
have
to sit
days.
on, like something that makes it a
Yeah.
little more interesting.
Well, and I feel like she always goes all out with like costumes and
Totally.
yeah.
You could do like a teddy bear picnic,
Uh-huh.
3-day, Monday
Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful, I will let them know we
That's
are
great.
open and willing to have them as much as they would like to visit,
Yeah.
as much.
There's a little library at the pool that has had the same book since 2019.
Is it one of those exchange programs?
Yes,
Okay.
and I've read most of them.
Are they
It could
all,
be-
are they all adult books or are they kids books there too?
A lot of adult books.
I feel like it's mostly.
Yeah. And they're good ones, they're really good ones. Like I read,
There's a lot of mysteries and stuff. There's good stuff.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
I can bring-
you know what I mean?
I can bring
Okay.
some and swap out
So
some.
maybe they could,
I'll let,
on their
I have
upstairs
some
sale,
books
maybe
from
they could
my own
squeeze some
little free
books out.
library, which I get
Maybe
to
give
go.
them the
And
books
supplies.
back.
Do they have a portable program for that?
that I don't know, but if they
That
don't,
would be
it would be
cool,
something
they showed up
to.
and
Yeah.
they had a
I
portable.
know they do that with,
They do go places, like they
yeah,
have, they
at the
have something at
Highlands.
Kimberton.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they showed up at our
Kids.
event and they had,
Yeah.
35 books and we promote, hey, bring a whole book and you can take a new book at Earth Day and they cater the book offerings.
They have all
to-
those books up in the sale room, they can do that.
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
the
so
swap.
I'll let them know if they have, anytime they wanna show up to, we would encourage them to be at as many of our events as possible, and, through
You
the,
can't go with it.
playground committee, if whatever they wanna do, connect you
Yeah,
with
you
them
can
as
just
well.
give us like whatever the best way is to contact a
Sure.
certain person or, yeah, let us know. That'd be great.
And if you come up with any other ideas or suggestions around it, let me know and I'll get it back over to them. And again, they're working on that strategic plan. I know they're looking to be more active, have more visibility, and always get more folks in the door. So I think it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Do you know that, I know this may sound strange, it's about a library, but I don't know if this goes under that section 5, because it's a 4th of July thing, am I allowed to make a comment about the library during 4th of July? No. On the agenda, like, an agenda item, am I
Oh.
adding a new?
What are you? I mean, we're
So
talking
they
about
had
the
a,
library.
they had a banner up that said something, like a hashtag something with duck, but it really was implied. And hanging on the bridge of 4th of July last year for the duck race, and I didn't think it was appropriate. I took a picture, do you want me to bring it up and to give you the exact thing? Okay, it was, actually was surprised my neighbor who comments on everything that's wrong on the 4th of July about it, and, because there's not supposed to be advertising, so every year he tells me that there was advertising. And I say, I know, because they slap on their things after they go past the marshal. You know what I mean? Okay, I asked some other people for an opinion, see if I was, over, I gotta find it, I gotta go to July picture, sorry.
Well, while you're looking it up, is
Alright.
there anything else around the library? That's the end of the agenda. So anything else that we didn't talk about?
I just found some themes, one was gold medal fourth.
Gold medal
Since
for.
there's the
Ooh,
Olympics,
that's
Oh.
exciting.
with the Olympics this year, that might be a good tie-in.
That's fun.
Red, white, and gold.
Red, white, and gold.
So I'm just gonna email that to you.
I just sent you an email with some suggestions.
Anyway, it
Thanks.
implied the word that rhymes with duck. The hashtag.
No.
It did.
Too
Trying to
simple.
find it. I was like, ooh, I don't think so.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in
here we
favor?
Up on that, or you-
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
What?